We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling, where we are now going to be recapping the Cliff Keen Las Vegas, basically Tournament of Champions here, where this was heavily ranked event. Lot of action here, and we'll be breaking it down weight by weight. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the tournament as much as we did, because there was a lot of craziness that happened pretty much at every weight.
Yeah, no weight went the way I expected.
Yeah, I don't think anyone had 125 going the way it ended up going. That
Man,
was,
Provo had a great tournament.
I mean, yeah, he had what, four ranked wins in a row,
Yeah,
and
I mean, let's
I
see, he
mean,
beat Terrakina, Ramos, Volk, and
and
in the
Unger,
finals.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the finals he beat Unger. So yeah, four ranked guys in a row.
And three of them he only gave up an escape. Like,
Yeah, he really did score a lot of points throughout this event.
yeah, 5-1, 8-1, 8-1, 12-5, and pinned the guy. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, he was really coming here to make a statement that uh that he was gonna, yeah, be the CKLV champion, and I mean he did a phenomenal job with it.
yeah. I mean, I was talking to you guys. He turned to the flow table, and he was like, "I'm number one now," or he's like, "I should be." There's definitely an argument for it.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Like, I mean, freaking what's his face from NC State who didn't wrestle? Camacho.
Matchup.
He was the is I guess some people put him at
Yeah,
ranked one, and he could have been in this bracket, but he got the one spot by beating Ramos. But that was his only, like,
but it was also a much closer match too. It wasn't
yeah,
an 8-1 victory.
yeah, exactly. So like Provo beat him easier, I guess, but then along with three other ranked
Yeah.
guys. So
Tournament setting matters.
yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. He had a a tougher way to get there. Oh,
Yeah.
what did I
Hey,
switch this to?
CT wrestler, man. CT Strong and Nico Provo.
Well, it seems like CT Strong here, either way. If you got Camacho or
Yeah.
Provo, they're both
Wouldn't that
hailing
be a
from
great national
Connecticut.
final for Connecticut?
Yeah, so yeah, and I mean, and at 41, there was a second Connecticut finalist as well,
Yeah.
but we'll get to that.
RJ. We'll get to it.
Yeah. I think one of the more disappointing performances was from Eddie Ventresca. I
Just
think
about to
his
bring it up.
record's now somewhere in like 2-9 or 2-7,
Yeah.
or like,
You wonder what's going on with Eddie.
yeah,
And was it an overreaction to have him ranked so high coming in because of his great tournament last year? Or
right.
you know, or or what? Or is he cutting too much weight? Is he maybe injured and we don't know about? Um, when he first had the loss at Ohio State, I think we were like, oh man, like what a crazy thing. And now it's like, okay, it's actually becoming more the standard, unfortunately for him.
Right. Yeah, no, he's only won two matches out of
Yeah.
like almost 10, I think. And he
Yep.
got majored twice. And
Yeah,
neither guy that he lost to is like a top guy.
for
It's
sure.
not like Ramos majored him. So, yeah, I don't know what is going on in Virginia there with him, but
Not sure.
it's not working. He's got to change up his training style or something. But what's his called? I was surprised, not too surprised, but I was surprised that Volk managed to pull off the win over Caleb Smith there in the quarters. Um, I mean, Caleb Smith wrestled like really tough. I mean, he even in
Yeah.
the consolations here, he knocked off Ramos as well. He knocked him out of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he came back for fourth. Did he take or did he take third?
He
Yeah,
got
third.
third. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
made
I
it
mean,
all
he
the way
came
back up
back,
there.
wrestled great. What's funny is
Yeah,
he
so
outplaced Volk.
yeah, he outplaced Volk because Kaler beat Volk. Like that, I wouldn't have. Kaler, I mean, is clearly right there in the mix at this
Yeah.
weight too, which is crazy because he had those early upsets that led us to think otherwise. But yeah, I mean, Matt Ramos finishing in
Tough
seventh
tournament.
place was
Yeah.
significantly lower than I think anyone had him doing at
I was
this
gonna
event.
say tough tournament for D'Agostino too, who ended up I think I don't know if he injury defaulted out or, and
He
if
injury defaulted out in that semifinal match. Yeah.
I don't remember if he got hurt though.
Yeah, no, well, I'm assuming he did because it says default 6 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I didn't get a chance to watch that one, but I heard he got hurt because he didn't wrestle
okay,
anymore after that. I mean, he was
yeah.
losing 8-1, so I wasn't really going well for him there. But
Hunger's a tough guy, just solid Cornell wrestler.
I honestly, I was not expecting Unger to do it, make the finals.
Yeah, this the way this bracket broke down, it ended up being like all of them. Like I was like, oh man, like the guys that I thought were gonna crush ended up getting crushed.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought Matt Ramos was gonna be a pretty safe bet to go down in the quarters and then wrestle it back and take 7 was not what I was expecting at all.
no,
Um,
no, not at all. Yeah, like Ramos really, I want to say, underperformed.
yeah,
D'Agostino, I guess we'll find out how serious of an
yeah,
injury that was. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, even Volk not placing in the top four after making the semis, losing to Kaler was unexpected, and Caleb Smith. I mean, he wrestled really well except for losing to Volk. So
yeah.
I mean, all in all, I mean, 125 really
Struck out wild.
yeah, it really was a crazy weight. Which I mean was not really I mean, not really, but 133 also didn't disappoint.
Yeah,
It had some pretty crazy stuff going on in here. I
I
mean,
was most surprised at Buzakis losing, like I think
yeah.
in the first round, and by
In a
getting majored.
major.
But then he wrestled. I'm like, I texted with you guys. I'm like, wow, like, did we all really, really overrank Buzakis? But then he takes the long road back,
Oh
wrestles, I
yeah.
think, wins 7 straight to take third.
Yeah, he got tech fall. Then he got a major.
Major, a tech
Then he
fall,
tech, a
a
pin,
pin,
a
a
pin,
pin.
and then 4-2. Like,
Yeah, so it's like what? So maybe he just bad warm up, maybe a bit more of a weight cut, wasn't quite ready for that first match. But Ty Knox is a great wrestler. I mean, you have experience coaching directly against him in
yeah,
New
no,
England
yeah, exactly.
Championship.
My guy at the New England tournament wrestled him, and he was known for being really good on top. And we went in with the game plan we weren't going to choose bottom, but my guy
Got
somehow
to
in
get
the
away.
middle of the
Yeah.
match decided that he wanted to go bottom, and I was like, no, don't go bottom, and he went bottom anyway, and I was just like, you knew this was not the good choice because then he got
Yeah.
pinned. So it
Yeah.
was like,
I would say it was, if I remember, it was a close match up until then.
yeah, it was. I think he gave up a takedown. It was like 2-0. He gave it the takedown at the end of the period. They were in a crazy scramble,
Yeah.
and yeah, he was like, "Coach, I can get away from him." I was like, "Don't choose bottom, like defer, go neutral." And then he was like, "No, no, I'm gonna go bottom. I can do this." And I was like, "You're not gonna do this." And yeah, well,
But
oh
hey,
well.
heck of a tournament for Tyler Knox to make the semis. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for
Stanford in
sure.
general, Chris Ayers, already seems to be such a great right guy for Stanford program. My
Yeah,
goodness, did they have a great tournament?
yeah, Provo and then Knox back to back.
Yeah,
Those two, because
Cardenas.
Knox knocked off three seeded guys
Yeah,
just to get to the semis, and he even had a 2-1 match with Frost in the semis. Like
yeah,
he came to win it. Like he was right there. Like Frost has been proving himself to be like a solid entity
yeah,
here. And I mean, I watched the finals, Arini against Frost, and honestly, that could have been a 6-4 match very easily. The 6 back points that Frost gave up, he was on bottom. Like one of them, he tried to do a Granby and he got held there for 2. Another one, like he tried some weird, like not throw, but like he was on bottom and like they got in a weird position. He tried something and then got caught on his back near the out of bounds for 4. And it was just like, if you didn't do that, you would have been
yeah.
actually in a closer position to win this match, and it wouldn't have been a major. So like those two match up again. I think it'll at very least it'll be a decision. I don't think Arini's gonna major him again. But
I was disappointed to see Dayton Fix be an early morning scratch.
oh yeah, that
I
was
was wasn't really expecting that.
right.
you never really know what's going on, especially with a guy that's trying to make an Olympic team in 2024, where it's like, I've talked to you guys about this with the Penn State guys. Um, they say, hey, like our schedule reflects that more of us really care about freestyle and making the Olympic team, which is why we're doing X versus Y for our duels and tournaments and whatnot. Um, you wonder if Dayton's doing the same thing, and he's like, hey, like this is actually a weekend I'm going to be training freestyle or whatever,
Yeah.
to benefit me next season. But it begs the question again, if that's the case, why not just take the Olympic red shirt?
Right. Yeah. No, that's fair too.
So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I would have loved to see how Fix would have gone against some of these guys, because as you'll see, and we'll see talk about in later weights, some of these older guys that we had high hopes for really, really shit the bed.
it's
So
tough to be an old wrestler now.
yeah. And then I mean Julian Shablov, really, I mean, I wasn't expecting him to, make the finals or even contend to make the finals, but he didn't even really.
Yeah, as a 3 seed, it's
The 3 seed didn't even, make a bid to place on the podium. So that was a underwhelming performance, I would say, from him. I mean, Knox didn't get top four, but I mean,
still for good year for him. Still, again, I think that Stanford's really moving in the right direction.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So moving on up, 141. We had some interesting fireworks matchups here at this weight, for sure. I mean, starting with
Everyone in this weight class was a goer. This whole tournament, everyone at
yeah,
141 was just like going balls to the wall.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the champ really was setting himself up to
yeah,
be a league above everyone else with Mendez. He had 100% bonus going into the finals, and Ryan Jack there broke that streak of bonus. With five.
bonusing Brock Hardy like that, 11-3. I mean, just watching some of the highlights
Yeah,
too of it.
yeah.
When it's different camera angles, you're like, wow, like he's really getting after it.
No,
Um,
every match, Mendez was the one like, I need to score, I need to score, I
yeah,
need to score. It didn't matter. I need to score, I need to score. And I mean, in the finals, Ryan Jack, he was doing a lot more backing up. He did get in on one shot that I don't know about it, could have scored on, but that was his like one opportunity. And but it did not phase Mendez, and I mean, he just kept high pace. And I mean, that's the way I like to see a guy wrestle.
well,
Like he
I was
really
gonna
got that.
say, it's what's separating these like top wrestlers from like really great wrestlers is that you can keep this high pace the entire time.
Yeah,
It's what made Mendez the number one pound for pound guy in high school, and now we're seeing that hey, like he's you know kind of breaking returning All Americans.
yeah. Yeah, the majoring Brock Hardy was just
That
like,
was that was very eye opening. Where I'm like, wow, I'm a big Bo Bartlett fan. I think him and Real Woods could be a great NCAA finals, but I'm like, wow, maybe they won't even happen because Mendez is in the Big Ten and he could be
yep,
kicking ass and taking names and
yeah.
changing everything up before
Well, and
nationals.
especially since Ekamandia put Woods to
Yeah,
overtime, like I'm like thinking right now Mendez is like he's looking like he could take Woods maybe. Like,
I feel like Echemendia, Anthony Echemendia, like people are kind of figuring out his game plan now about like,
yeah.
hey, like he wants to be neutral. Um,
Well, he's
we
also
actually,
giving up takedowns. Like that's when
yeah,
he
well, that's
lost
it. He
to
he lets it
McNeil.
fly a little bit. And maybe that's a little bit too much of a freestyle background. I don't even know what did he end up placing.
I don't think he actually made
I'll
the
say I
final.
don't think he did.
Pretty
He
sure
was up.
he yeah. Oh, okay,
Um,
yeah, right here. So he
yep,
he got top seven.
7.
He
Yeah, he
got
took
seven
seven.
there.
Yep,
Yeah.
7.
He majored
Um,
Cornella.
yeah. You know who didn't do that? Bo Bartlett.
Yeah, Bo Bartlett brings him to overtime, but right there, Cornella gets majored by Ekamandia, gets majored by Tegan Jameson. I mean, Tegan Jameson had a pretty solid tournament. Uh,
Lachlan Mineo wrestling back for a solid third.
yeah, but I
I
mean,
was surprised Brock Hardy lost again in
oh,
a shootout at 13,
yeah,
plus
to
points per
Happel,
guy.
yeah, because like Hardy against Ryan Jack, I would pick Hardy every time. I just I don't think that Jack would beat Hardy, but I mean, Jack beat Happel like 15-6 or 14-6. So I was surprised to see that he had this crazy matchup here with Hardy and got the win.
How
And
about RJ too? Having RJ just has, Lachlan McNeil's number
oh,
for whatever reason.
that's
He
it. Yeah,
just always
exactly. They just match up so wonderfully
he's
that
either 3-0 or 4-0 against him at this point.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3, but
Just
still, yeah.
tough guy to beat.
It's, I mean, we'll see come end of the year. I mean, McNeil's gonna probably outplace him again at the
Yeah,
national tournament.
I
Like,
was just thinking the same thing. I was like, I wonder what would happen if RJ and Mendez wrestled in the semis, and
mhm.
how would Lachlan McNeil do against Mendez?
Right, yeah, exactly. McNeil against Mendez it would be an interesting, or like
Yeah,
yeah, Hardy on Jack. Like, if those
yep.
were the seating was a little bit different, that it wasn't an ACC and Big Ten semis instead. But um, I mean, again, great to see a Connecticut guy
Yeah,
got there in the got
repping
there.
that 203. You know how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I
uh,
just think I'm still curious if like Etchemendia is going to still be like, hey, like let me just live and die in neutral, or if he's going to try to to develop his top game and have to work on his bottom, escaping.
yeah.
Um, because guys are like, oh, he's just going to look to throw, he's going to look for this crazy stuff, and he's
After
good
the
at it.
Woods match, I really thought that he was going to be like untouchable from in
Yeah,
neutral, but then he's losing like via takedown, and I'm just like, huh.
I think he's a hard matchup, which is why like I think we kind of talked about it too. It's like he's great, but maybe there's got to be a little bit more data that we see from him first
Yeah.
before we're ready to like be like, hey, this is a guy, this is possibly the guy.
Right, right, right. That
But
makes sense.
yeah, we'll see.
Moving on up, 149. Ridge Lovett proves to be the guy. I mean, he really didn't even get tested until he got really, really
Like
tested
Caleb
by. I
Henson,
mean,
yeah,
Caleb Henson, he's proving that he is definitely a title contender. Although, I mean, watching the finals match, Lovett was in control the whole way. Like, I mean, the whole first period, Lovett dominated. The second period is when Henson got that takedown. Um, but Henson refused to choose bottom because he got ridden out for like a minute 20 in the first.
mm-hmm.
And Lovett's been looking so good on top. Like, I mean, that limits Henson there. Like, I mean, Lovett's already hard to score on. Yeah,
Yeah,
he got the one takedown, but in order to win that match, he would have needed a second one. And he's Lovett's pretty stingy when it
tough
comes.
to get 2 takedowns on a guy like Lovett.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's great at scrambling. He's killer on top. So like Henson showed a lot of respect. I mean, it was the right thing to do. If he went on bottom, he would have given up riding time. So it would have been a waste of
It would have been even, yeah, it would have been 5-4 instead of.
yeah. So that whatever. But I mean, Henson's definitely proving to be one of these top guys. I mean, I think he'll definitely be at a minimum in the national semis.
Yeah,
Maybe he'll pull off the finals.
one of the better Virginia Tech guys, as far as the season's going so far.
Yeah.
But I think Ridge Lovett, big, huge far cry from the 1-0 match he had not that long ago.
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, I'm looking to score big points, and I think he had bonus in all but one match.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah,
the quarters against Kinner was a point away, and then
yeah.
Lovett Henson was the 4-3. Kyle Parko got
I'm kind of
blanked.
surprised. I was kind of surprised that Parko wasn't a little bit more competitive with Caleb Henson.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought that match should be like pretty down to the wire. But
yeah. I
Caleb
would have thought
Henson,
it would have
great
been like a
control.
one point match type deal, but then no, yeah, got completely blanked.
Great control by Henson. I'm happy to see Casey Swiderski be a placer. I'm high on the kid. I think he's awesome.
I mean,
Uh,
he gave Parko a good run. I mean, that was a
yeah,
one down match.
he
So
lets it fly. He's just one of those guys that just lets it fly.
how about the 14-11 first round match
Yeah,
with Boss? Yeah,
some of these first round matches were wild,
yeah,
and we'll get into some of these round of 16 matches in another weight class.
yeah.
Um, but it was some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, Arrington did not do as well as I would have thought he was gonna.
Yeah.
Swiderski did. I mean, Swiderski's proven that moving up a weight was
Always,
definitely justified. 13-10 with
yeah.
Dylan D'Amelio.
He's got a gas tank now. I mean, he's able to score points and keep going. Once he refines himself, I think a little bit more, because he's still a young guy. He's going to be in those top mixes. I mean, D'Amelio's a bit older now.
Yeah.
And
How about
how about
freaking
Parco
Parco?
putting it on D'Amelio at the end,
Yeah,
though?
right. Like
Yeah,
wagering him 11-1. Like it's crazy because like Parker will do these types of results and then he gets blanked 5-0 by Henson. Like I feel like maybe it's a mental thing. Like he's like some guys, he's like, oh, I'm dominating this guy, and then he's
yeah.
like, oh, this guy, oh, this is gonna be rough, and then it
Well,
ends.
there's those guys. The guys you always have matchups with. You're like, man, I know how this match is going to go in my head, kind of thing. And you're like,
Yeah,
you're not giving yourself maybe the benefit of the doubt to let it fly. You're going to be a little bit guarded.
right. So
But
yeah, all right, moving on up, 157.
I was so wrong on this. At first, I was very right, and then I was very wrong. I was like, man, Shapiro taking it all the way. And
I
how did
mean,
he do it? He majors Bryce Andonian, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh man,
that was.
Shapiro did the best. He's amazing.
I watched that match and was just like, how did Shapiro do it? How did he freaking
That's
just
yeah,
pick Andonian apart? Just like make him just look like, I mean, Andonian really threw the sink at him. Like he
yeah.
really did. And it got thrown right back.
Well,
And
that's you go first.
I I couldn't believe it. Like, cause it wasn't like, oh, Andonian wrestled bad.
Yeah,
Cause he didn't. He just, I mean, maybe he just let it fly too much and Shapiro was able to capitalize on that. But
that's what I
like,
was gonna say. Is Shapiro, and I've sent you guys, and we've watched his freestyle highlights.
mhm.
This is a guy that like isn't just gonna chip away at a score. He's looking like crazy stuff the whole time. He's funky. He can scramble. He finds positions that no one else finds. He's very much Bryce Andonian's kryptonite because Bryce also likes to wrestle like that, where he's gonna go big. And I think he went for a double overs throw like
Oh,
30
30
seconds
less
into
than
the
yeah, 20, 30 seconds in, he was, yeah.
And Meyer Shapiro was like, "Cool, man. I actually love this position," and then he scored from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but watching that, I'm like, "Wow, Majors, an incredible stud like Bryce Andonian. I mean, this guy's got a national title all over him."
Yeah, I was
And then
like,
what
he's
happened?
cruising to the finals. He's gonna win this, no
Yeah,
problem.
I was already like, "Man, I can't wait to see how he beats Ja'Cory Teamer," and then he's
Yeah,
gonna beat
right.
Peyton Robb, and I'm like, at practice coaching with my high school guys, I'm like, "Man, I'm actually pretty worried for Levi Haynes. This is, can he beat this guy? I don't know." And then what happens?
Oh yeah, freaking yeah, against
Yeah,
Cardenas, like 8-5. That was
not what I was
when I,
expecting.
I was like speechless. Well, no, that didn't make me speechless. I was just like, all right, so maybe
Yeah,
it's just a good matchup. But then if you flip over to the consolations and you're just like, wait, what happened here?
yeah,
What?
Trevor Chumley.
Chumbly?
Yeah, I was like, wait.
What?
I go, how did this just happen? And then to kick it all off, anyway, Chumley didn't get much further. He just won that match, and then he lost. He got worked by Ed Scott.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ed Scott managed to come all the way back and majored
Yeah, he
Andonian for
he
third.
really and Andonian was on a tear too on the way back.
And had Andonian not lost to Shapiro, he clearly would have messed up
Yeah,
Cardenas and been in the semis against Teamer, which would have been a
Teamer.
fireworks matchup.
Oh yeah,
I would have loved to have seen that because, but I mean, unfortunately, it didn't happen. I mean, Ed Scott also reason he was even in the 7-4 loss to Peyton Keller.
yeah.
He was
Who
in the
then?
consolation.
I love Will Luan still wrestling tight, close matches. It does my heart right.
Yeah, 4-1, 5-2, loses 8-2. But you think he takes top four? No, of course not. I mean, Andonian and Scott said otherwise because Ed Scott 5-2 over Will Luan. So Ed Scott could have been in the semis had he not lost
Yeah,
to this guy here that didn't even place.
Peyton Kelly.
Like this weight really
Yeah, this way was all
question
over
what
the
I
place.
think I have a in my head as who's gonna finish where at the end of the season. Uh,
How
but
about Ja'Cory Teamer though? I mean, before we got to the finals, Ja'Cory Teamer looked really good.
yeah,
Seems like his concussion, he's feeling better. His
yeah,
shoulder surgery, all that, is kind of behind him now. Because
absolutely.
he beat down Cardenas, who again, awesome job by Stanford. They are
Yeah, no,
really
yeah. Stanford
doing a
really
good thing.
showed up to wrestle at this thing, and yeah, they're proving themselves.
You got Peyton Robb right back from an injury, like a serious injury. I remember talking with you guys like he could lose his leg.
Yeah, no, I was like, is he even gonna come back? And then he manages
Yeah,
to come back. Like, honestly, it's like he never left, or he's better
yeah.
than ever. Like,
He's looking really. He looks so good already.
yeah,
Nebraska's probably so thankful to have him back, and I'm sure he's thankful to be back.
yeah.
But man, didn't look like he didn't even miss a beat.
And honestly, the funny thing with the finals match is Teamer, not blew it, but like the takedown Teamer gave up. I think Rob had like double unders, and Teamer tried to throw. Like he tried to like double overs throw and got taken down off of it, and it was just like
He saw how well it worked for Andonian.
it was like I don't know if that was your move, guy. Like had you not done that, I don't know that Rob was going to be able to score off of that double unders that he had. So like I think if he'd wrestled a little differently in that position, he doesn't give up the takedown. If he doesn't give up that takedown, I think he wins the not wins the match, but like he's
Definitely more competitive potentially.
yeah, he like
Not that 6'4" isn't competitive. It's just
yeah, but like he's definitely in much better position to score. I mean, all the good action happened in the first period. This next two periods, nothing really happened. It was just like two escapes and maybe a stall call. So, um, yeah, but I mean, exciting nonetheless for this
yeah.
weight class. A lot of craziness happening here. So this is going to make fun for the next wave of
Oh,
rankings that are coming out here.
Shit'em too had a pretty good tournament. Just to mention quick.
Oh yeah,
Not as good as I expected though.
Shit
You
him.
know, he lost a tight one to Cardenas, who
Yeah, he
then
lost that one, but then he
who
lost
then beat Shapiro by a tight one. But man, did he get beat down by Andonian?
yeah, it was a tough match there. Yeah, one
Yeah,
minute and 16 seconds. Yeah, so and oh
he's
yeah,
not there
Joey
yet. Yeah,
Blaze, he was here. You wouldn't have even known because
no.
Chumley took care of him in the consolation. Like,
Chumley had a good tournament. Just honestly,
yeah, I mean, other than his first round loss where
yeah.
right,
Downey,
yeah, Downey here beat him. Yeah, Ryder.
Downey beat Gallagher too. I feel like Patty Gallagher is just is struggling to find himself at Ohio State. Not that they're the problem. I think he's not maybe performing at the level that he was recruited at.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's like one of those guys that they're tough, they're solid,
Yeah,
but like that's it.
just
Like
not. Yeah,
never kind of getting over the not the hill, but um
this was
so
an
moving
upset.
up 165. Hot diggity.
Yeah,
Hot diggity. I mean, you got to go straight to the obvious. This matchup right here.
yeah. I don't even know. I mean,
I, I mean,
I
I watched that clip of the takedown. I watched the match. Like
the swipes. I don't know. I think there was a lot of people to say
everyone
bad ref.
arguing that it should have been backs, I think
Yeah,
are not correct because yeah, okay, he's on his back long enough where if Carr was on top from the get-go from the back, him on his back, then that should be back points. But he has to establish control first. So he's on his back and it's like one, maybe one and a half, two, and that's when control would be, and then it's like another swipe, but then that's it. And he's belly down. So I don't think backs were a play. I think the way it was called was actually accurate.
I
Yeah.
agree. I just it sucks for David Carr.
Yeah. I mean,
Who's
he's
but
gonna
hey,
take a belly
rather
back in the pound for pound too.
rather have the loss now though. I mean, I feel like everybody's gonna say that.
Well,
Also,
yeah, but I mean, at the
yeah,
same time, I wouldn't have ever thought that Julian Ramirez was going to be in the realm of beating David Carr, especially after David Carr against Caliendo. Like, I don't know how that even those are the same guy. Like, you just nearly teched a returning All American. Ramirez has only ever made it round of 12, and he's the guy that knocked you off, which is it's wild. Like that's
shout
but
out to Julian Ramirez though for helping my youth kids. They went to a clinic that he did, and he taught them, a better version for the outside step high crotch, and they love it now. So yeah, Julian Ramirez, go you.
kudos to that. Glad spreading some knowledge.
Yeah,
So
a
Izzy
legend. Yep.
Olegnik Oleg oh shit Olegnik Olenek He had a great tournament. Olenek had a
Yeah,
great tournament. Knocks off Cam Amin, which I was just like, wait, what? I mean, it was
I was happy about.
similar to after the All-Star Classic when he beat Hamity. Like he's very savvy, very slick. He not steals matches, but like it's like he's not really doing much. He's not really doing much, and then boom, hello, takedown.
Yeah, he
And
lulls guys into a false sense
yeah,
of confidence.
exactly. Like
He slows down their pace before he strikes.
yeah, and like I mean, it's working because he's knocking off everybody he's wrestling.
Yeah,
So kudos to Olenek. He's really proven. I mean, honestly, I guess he's the what number two guy
yeah,
now.
probably number two at this point.
Yeah, like I mean, Keegan O'Toole, unless he takes a loss, that I mean, it should be
Yeah,
O'Toole and then Olenek. Um, since Carr lost, otherwise I would have said three. But yeah, that Carr, yeah, Carr.
I was still surprised about the Carlos.
Yeah, that one was just hard to wrap your head around. Um, in the wrestlebacks, I thought Algoin was going to do better than he did.
Yeah,
Um, nice to see Binghamton make the podium, even if it is eighth place, but still, I mean, this was
tight match
everyone's
over there.
yeah, everyone was predicting this to be the finals, and they wrestled in the third, fourth place match and one takedown match, right?
Yeah,
Like,
close match, super close.
or no, not even a takedown
This
match.
escape and a riding escape.
Escape stall, yeah, escape stall riding time. So no takedown. Like that's not exactly the most exciting match, but I didn't get
No,
a chance to watch it. But I mean, I would have figured Carr beats Amin. I mean, look at him; he techs Stanford there. But I'm surprised he wasn't able. That's two guys actually. Now he couldn't take down Hamity and he couldn't take down Amin. Like, and he couldn't take down what's his face that he lost to Ramirez.
yeah,
So
maybe
like,
he's got an issue in neutral.
so yes, it's seeming that way, which is really shocking to to think about that
Yeah,
could actually be the case.
I
Um,
thought it was unrelated. I mean, somewhat related, but I thought it was cool that Garrett Thompson from Ohio University, a much smaller D1 school, placed top five. I thought that was awesome.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love that the smaller schools to have a good tournament. Especially after getting majored in the quarters by Carr and then wrestling back for fifth.
yeah. No, that's a solid
Um,
performance for sure.
yeah, I mean he majored.
Beating Algoin by
Yeah,
major is
yeah.
great. Like, yeah.
And then I think he had a close match with Amin, relatively close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4-1. I mean, he's right
yeah,
there.
he's right there. It's awesome to see
That's a
these
guy
guys
flying under the radar. No one's
for sure.
yeah. So moving on up, we got 174 where you think
Yeah,
Shane Griffith, he's going to make, cruise to the finals. He barely gets by Ohio in the first round and then loses to Stanford 4-2.
how
And I
ironic
watched
is
that
that?
match and I was just like, I mean, honestly, I know I had previous videos I had mentioned thinking that Shane Griffith could beat Strachey. Definitely not.
Yeah,
It's not happening.
that was
it
an ironic one.
there's in no way going to happen. Seeing how Shane's wrestled this so far this year and seeing how Carter has, zero chance that Shane is going to beat Carter. So definitely false thought there when every time I was pitching that.
I think
Um,
one of our commenters brought it up too, and it's a regular commenter. I don't remember who said it, but they brought up to it might be tough for Griffith, one changing schools and two going up a weight, that he probably won't be as dominant, and we're kind of seeing it already. And maybe he'll make an
yeah,
adjustment because it's a long season, but for now, he does not look nearly where he needs to be able to beat these top guys that he probably thinks he should be beating.
no, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, he shouldn't be losing to Stanford. I mean, and this is a freshman too. So
Yeah,
like,
unranked. It's your alma mater.
yeah, your alma mater. It's very disappointing. Wask making the semis was a surprise for me for sure. I had I mean, no offense to Wask here, but I didn't really know much about you.
I
So
ended up, don't worry, I sent some info about you.
oh yeah, no, I saw all the info. He was a
Afterward.
very storied recruit, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, beating Faison, that's good, but
Losing a close one to Whitlake. It's just like, Wask to go to, a smaller school. I mean, Navy's a great school academically, athletically, career moves. But a lot of top recruits aren't like, hey man, I'd love to go to wrestle at West Point, or I'd love to go wrestle at the Naval Academy. Especially a
right,
guy that was, a four-time prep national American, three-time national champion in high school. With the accolades he had, you thought, oh, this is a guy that's looking at like Penn State, Iowa, Cornell,
yeah,
etc. So I think that's why a lot of guys kind of flew under the radar a little bit with this tournament.
yeah, could be for sure, but um, I I didn't get a chance to see how Kemp got injured because he was having a barn burner there with Whitlake, but and he didn't wrestle again after that. So, um, interested to see how Kemp if he responds with a serious injury or if it was just something minor. Disappointed to see that Shane Griffith injury defaulted out of the tournament or med forfeited whatever to MJ Guyton. I would have really liked to have seen if he could have wrestled back all the way for third, but maybe he thought that that was too long a road. Kemp, I think, is a legit injury. Hopefully, he'll get back on the
Back on the mat.
back on the mat sooner than later. But yeah, moving on to the other side of the bracket here. We're focused on the other side. Um, we got the champ here, Cade DeVos, who, I mean, he was wrestling really, really well.
Yeah.
I mean, the win over Harchla here, that was a gritty win, as gritty as they come. I think Harchla actually gave DeVos a harder time than Whitlake did.
That's
Um,
fair.
like watching the finals compared to watching that semi, like I think DeVos had a harder time getting the win over Harchla. And I mean, I don't think anyone was picking DeVos to win this tournament.
Probably not.
Like, I think everyone would have picked Griffith, Harchla, or Whitlake over DeVos winning this thing.
Sure.
Um, and I mean, he turned it on. He really wrestled quite
Yeah.
well. I mean, I was quite impressed with DeVos's performance, and I mean, Harchla. I mean, he didn't wrestle bad.
Came back for third. Solid.
Yeah, like he was. Yeah, I
Looks
mean,
pretty big at the 174 weight compared to one. He was a big 165 too, though.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, he wins 11-7, 10-3. Like he could have won in the semis. He was right there. It came down to
Yeah.
that last takedown. So like Harchler really, I mean, he's wrestling better I feel like at 74 than he did at 65. At 65, he'd like get pinned by some random guy and it'd be like, what?
Just too much of a cut. I think that we're going to see more and more guys are like, no, I'd rather wrestle close to my natural weight, so I'd give it a higher pace.
Yeah, yeah. Cause like what's his face? At 41. I feel like Mendez is benefiting
Yeah. Oh, for
both from it.
sure.
Well,
For
and even
sure.
Vito, 25 to 33. He went from he's good, but whatever, to
Yeah.
he's super dominant. He's
Light
amazing.
and quick.
Like, so yeah, unreal of a difference between the two weights. So but not so great for Sugar Shane here.
No, not the best day for him.
Yeah.
I thought it was so ironic that he lost to a Stanford guy.
No, I know. Of all people to lose to, he loses to the Stanford freshman. Like, come on.
Basically his replacement.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, his replacement beats him. So if he'd stuck around at Stanford, he wouldn't even been the guy, which is
Yeah.
unbelievable. Um, yeah, here we are.
What a dominant day for Keck Eisen.
Yeah, honestly, Parker looked so good. Like
Yeah.
Tech, Pin, Major, 8-4 over Pinto, who Pinto was on fire at this tournament.
Yeah, Lenny Pinto. I mean, this is where we kind of made a name for himself last year. He came alive here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, he definitely found life. I mean, that Plot Pinto match was wild. That was an exciting match. If you got a chance to watch one,
Yeah.
that was definitely a fun one to watch. But still with Parker, like he picked
Just even
apart
major, yeah, major
Feldkamp.
in the finals. Just
Yeah, I
wild.
watched him pick apart Feldkamp. Feldkamp tried his tricks and they didn't work against Keckeisen like they did against Munoz. Munoz honestly was
He blew that match.
he got the first takedown, no problem. And then he's in so deep and he played right into Feldkamp's game and managed to get into that kind of cartwheeling roll thing that ended up with him pinned. Had he not done that, I think that Munoz would have been in the finals against
Keckeisen.
Parker, but shockingly, Munoz loses again.
Yeah. It was not a good day for like returning top wrestlers to Fishback,
What?
who
Like,
lost, and Fishback lost the next match anyway.
yeah, it was like to Fishback of all people. Like, not disrespecting Fishback, but like I kind of thought Munoz was up here and Fishback was down here, not for
Yeah, I
Munoz
mean
not to make the podium. I
that
I was
whole lower side of the contest. I mean, you have Fishback beats Munoz, then Fishback loses to Bullock immediately, and then Bullock loses to Pinto, and then Pinto loses to Plot. It's like, wow,
yeah.
there was no hope for Munoz to make it through this bracket at this point.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. Um, and then yeah, returning All-American Gavin Kane loses to Fisher, and doesn't place. Like it, these young guys are
Yeah.
proving that they're the real deal, and the older guys are clearly over the hill. It was nice to see a guy from Air Force though, make the post.
Yeah, another guy besides Hendrickson who didn't
Yeah,
wrestle. I'm
yeah,
sure. I wonder if he's hurt, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
yeah. But Pinto, I mean, aside from losing the Plot and Kickhausen, I think
Good tournament. Good
he
tournament.
had a really, really good tournament. Like, great to see him back and healthy, and clearly an All-American contender. No
Yeah.
doubt about it. I think Parker is really just stepping himself.
I was about to say he's really clearing himself as the favorite.
Yeah, like
I'm a
he's the
big
guy to
Truex
beat.
guy.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone can touch him at the moment. Like, I mean, I know
Yeah.
Truex gave him that really close match, but like,
Different match tactics probably weren't
yeah,
great. A
yeah,
lot of stalling.
exactly. But and I really thought Munoz was going to be a title contender this year, and
He still could be. He still could be. Yeah.
after this tournament, I no longer think that. He's changed my mind. I really don't think Munoz is going to be in the mix. I mean, he'll probably be in the mix for an All American, at very least round of 12. But like after this performance, I think he's got to go back to the drawing board and see like
Yeah.
I'm
What are
doing
you gonna
something
work on?
wrong. Yeah. So, uh, yeah, that was not his best weekend
No.
for sure. But moving on up, 197. This one also didn't go as most.
Yeah. Sloan started off real solid.
Yeah, he's got a tech over Sonny Sasso, who placed top 6.
Yeah, we know his brother.
Yeah, exactly. And then he gets a major. Then Max Shaw gives him a pretty close match, and then out of nowhere, Jackson Smith.
Man, he's putting Maryland wrestling on his back. He really is.
Yeah, yeah, he really is. So I mean, and I watched the final, Smith against Hidlay. Um, Honestly, Smith he was wrestling, I feel like, to keep the match close. He wasn't really wrestling to score. Trent was really pushing the pace. He was really like almost had him on the out of bounds several times. Like I think the fact that Smith kept on kind of circling, backing up and
Yeah,
whatnot is why he couldn't score more, because he wasn't really engaging. But yeah, Hidlay really, he was definitely the best guy in the bracket.
for sure.
I would have liked to have seen him against Tanner Sloan though, but
Yeah.
yeah, no.
How about Cardenas teching returning Big Ten champion?
Oh yeah,
That's all.
that one was wild.
Wild. Did not
Yeah,
expect that one.
I because like especially because Cardenas, I mean, not that he's bad, but like
Yeah, but you just don't know. Yeah,
he's not like a superstar, like and Allred beat freaking Max Dean. So you're like,
yeah,
he's capable of beating a national champ. He's not going to get teched by anybody, and then he gets teched by him. Like that
yeah.
was that. I mean, Allred also had another pretty a bonus point loss, um, to Tanner Sloan. He yeah 12-1.
Yep.
So yeah, that was kind of surprising. Um, yeah, like I said earlier, Sonny Sasso, he really
He's a
did,
lot bigger than his brother.
yeah, a lot bigger.
Well, it
Yeah,
just shows how much weight that, like, Sammy is cutting as well. We've been saying it for years. He's just,
right.
he's gassed a lot. He's just cutting so much. He probably walks around like close to 175, 180.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So yeah,
He was cutting a ton to make 140,
cutting his
150.
arm off to make it down. But I mean, and then Cardenas had a pretty close match with Sloan. I mean, at
Yeah.
that point, but like so, I mean, maybe he will be an entity here. Oh, not to skip, we totally missed the bullet on talking about freaking what's his face? Wrong weight at 84. We jumped past it because who was thinking that
Oh
Chris
my gosh, Chris
freaking
Foca, yes.
Boca? Oh my god!
Loses to Air Force in round two, round of 16.
Yeah, and that wasn't
After
even his worst.
squeaking by Purdue.
Yeah, barely squeaks by his first win. Then he loses to Wolf. I mean, Wolf had a great tournament,
Yeah.
but I I was just I thought Foca was like a title contender, just like Munoz. Like I thought, hey, yeah, he's moving up a
Yeah,
weight.
and loses to Colorado, gets majored by Colorado and the Conti of 16 round two.
Yeah, I was just like, how does
Yeah.
that even happen? How, no, that was Columbia, not
Oh,
Colorado.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. Columbia,
Um,
my bad.
but I was just like, Foca was like, he had a 6-0 match loss to Starachi, national semifinalist. He goes up a weight. You think he's gonna be like, yeah, he's gonna be right there in the
Yeah, yeah.
mix because this weight's pretty open. And then this is his performance at 84 so far. He's comparable to Shane Griffith moving up to 74. It's extremely underwhelming and unimpressive thus far. Hopefully they can figure it out and they can turn it around. But so far, I would say I've been quite yeah, underwhelmed and disappointed um to this point. Yeah. Uh yeah, and then the last weight here at heavyweight rounding it off. Um this weight didn't have as much craziness as
Hendrickson not being in it really opened it up though for the rest of the bracket.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. I was impressed that Feldman managed to beat Fernandez
Fernandez is a solid heavyweight.
but yeah, by this margin here, 8-1. I was impressed by that. But younger Bastida, holy crap. I mean, Tech fall 11-4, 13-5, Tech's Greece in the semis. And then I watched this final. That was an exciting match. And I mean, it kind of came down to the wire, sort of, because all the points were scored in the third. But like, honestly, younger. I'm really interested to see how he matches up against Kirk
I
and
just think he's too.
Hendrickson.
I think he's too small for those guys. Davidson's a little bit of a smaller heavyweight.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Kirk
Yeah. I
and
mean
Hendrickson are gonna squish him a little bit.
I,
But athletically, he's looking incredible.
yeah, some of his defense is insane. Like these guys will get in
Super
real deep on
flexible.
him, and then
Super
he's like
flexible.
spinning around, and then he's in on it, and then
Yeah.
he's got such power. He's lifting these guys up in the air. Like he didn't even score. There's a clip
Yeah.
going
He's
around
just
from the video where
fireman just straight uplift.
yeah, he's got him in the air, and he doesn't even score it, which is like, oh, okay, well, okay then. Uh, I was I was kind of expecting that to lead to someone scoring, but it didn't. But yeah, no, he earned that title. I mean, I think he's established himself as the number 3 heavyweight,
Yeah.
unless he can run into Hendrickson or
Kirk.
Greg at any point.
I
I
was
don't think Iowa State has a duel with Penn State or Air Force. So probably won't see that until NCAAs, but
I was surprised to see Feldman take sixth. Not that I think he's good. His close match with Katka at the beginning of the season, I was like, okay, so he's just not there yet.
Yeah.
And um, I thought, maybe he'll be a little bit better, but there's some pretty freaking good heavyweights these days.
Yeah, no, that's true for sure. Oh, did he get hurt?
Defaulted. Yeah, I guess he might
Oh,
have.
so he got hurt against Gatti. I mean, Gatti was killing him
Yeah,
those
he
two
really
before.
was scoring points like crazy.
Yeah, Gatti solid. I mean, he beat Treffin. I mean, I was surprised Treffin didn't place. He lost to Boone McDermott. Um, yeah,
McDermott taking fourth though.
yeah, kudos to him. I mean, yeah, with the win over Greece, Fernandez, and Treffin. That's
Man, Gotti just majoring his way back.
yeah. I mean, because Gatti only I think lost to Davison. Yeah, yeah, he lost
Yeah,
6-2 to
6-2.
Davison, and then he was pretty dominant to get that third place
Yeah.
there. Um, Binghamton making the podium,
Yeah, Corey Day.
although Feldman majored him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this tournament really, it's definitely the toughest in season tournament. Um, it's a shame that some of the starters for some of these teams that the higher ranked guys didn't wrestle, like Dayton Fix, Colton Schultz, that they dropped out like
Vito.
second. Yeah, Vito didn't go. Camacho didn't wrestle. Like,
Richie Figs. We haven't seen this guy wrestle yet. He's still ranked like number one or number two by most places. And
yeah, like
that's awesome. He's a great wrestler, but he didn't wrestle detached last season. His biggest win last season was beating Matt Ramos at this tournament.
yeah, and he hasn't wrestled at all yet. Like, I mean, I'm interested to see if Provo ends up getting, top top three billing, maybe. I don't know.
He's beating a lot. It's not like he just beat one ranked guy. He beat four back to back convincingly.
Yeah, I mean, and on internet, he was only ranked 20th, and he beat
Yeah.
guys. All four of them were ranked higher than him. So there's that clear argument that we were saying. But yeah, this tournament is the premier. Like, this is like, if you want to really test yourself, you come to CKLV and see if you can come home with the title. Jordan Burroughs tweeted something like, what's the like wrestling triple crown?"
Yeah.
And he was like, NCAA's, CKLV, and the Midlands were the three.
Mm,
Those were the three that he put out there as the triple crown.
maybe the Midlands used to be. I feel like the Midlands and the Southern Scuffle both for like the last few years have been kind of like, shrinking
Yeah,
down.
they've
It's
they've,
not,
they've definitely been sliding
but
down, but like,
CKLV though is a tough tournament year after year.
but what would you put as the third one then? Like, if it's not the Midlands or the Southern Scuffle, like,
Well, it's not one that everyone can win, but I would say like a Big Ten or an ACC championship.
oh, you going with a conference title? Like,
Well, that's exactly well. He's going. Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Like, if
you
you,
can't put a conference title because not
not
everyone
everyone can. Yeah,
can
exactly.
go to it. Like, so
And that if that's the case, and it has to be, something that anyone can go to, I'd probably go with the Luther Open. No, I guess Midlands is still fair or Southern Scuffle. It's just like I said, I feel like both of them are interchangeable.
yeah. I mean, the Midlands is known for also getting like postgraduate
Yeah.
guys competing in it, like to see if they still have it type thing.
I mean, you get some crazy young guys too. I mean, there was a certain Kerry Collat that went there and did some pretty good damage as a high school kid.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see like, some of those other guys that we talked about in our five wrestlers that could, be an All American from
Yeah,
high
that's
school.
true. Yeah, maybe they'll
I'd like
mid
to see
high school
PJ Duke
season,
mix it up.
mid high school season go out and see like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna go to the
Yeah.
Midlands. Well, let's see how this goes.
But yeah,
Oh,
tons of upsets, great wrestling. I love when guys put it on the line like that.
yeah. Yeah, let us know in the comments which was some of your favorite matchups. Does Jordan Burroughs have it right with the triple crown of wrestling in season? Is it the NCAAs, the Midlands, and CKLV, or is there a different tournament that you think would be up to that level of getting the triple crown? But yeah, this tournament does not disappoint year in, year out. So
Oh, and before we go, if you just go to teams for a second, I think we all were wrong. I
oh
mean,
right.
I know I was. I picked Cornell.
I picked NC State, but
Yep,
NC State didn't have their full lineup, which
true.
hurt a little bit.
Iowa State wrestled great in Nebraska.
Jack had Nebraska, so I mean he was the closest.
Yeah.
They got second.
But how about Oregon State? Really great tournament for them.
Wow, yeah, fifth. That was
Virginia Tech, really not so good.
we
If they
really.
had Mecca, if they had Mecca Lewis,
Oh yeah, that would have been
that would probably help a lot.
Yeah, if they had Eddie Ventresca in the. Oh wait, they
Yeah,
played.
some work to do over there.
Yeah, if Andonian hadn't let Shapiro just work him,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe he would have been in the finals instead of fourth place. But yeah, no, I mean, we really, I guess, didn't consider Iowa State as a title contender for this tournament.
They're really looking good. I mean, I think that they bounced back pretty well from the Cy-Hawk duel.
Yeah,
and I know that
well, Dresser even said it.
Oh yeah. Oh, he said a lot.
Dresser even addressed that, like he was saying that he's like, I'm glad we got this so close after, and we don't have to sit on that loss.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't slept for I didn't sleep for a few nights because of that, and this hopefully eased the pain.
Yeah. I mean, hey, yeah, team title at the CKLV is definitely going to ease the pain of that.
And it knocked off Nebraska, who's won it the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, they placed 7 guys, so
yeah, wow,
that's a definitely a stellar team performance. So, yeah, I love this tournament.
Oh yeah,
one of these years I got to go and just watch.
make it a trip out to Vegas.
Yeah, trip out to Vegas and watch. I'm sure it'd be a great time. Yeah, but all right. Well, thanks for being here. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the tournament and some of these crazy matchups that occurred and the upsets that were there and even the team finish, how that played out. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.